Assalamu alaikum dear students, how are you? I hope you are fine. So today I am making this video to explain a problem related to exercise 1.2 and more like 3 or 4 students have raised query with this problem. So this is number 22 from exercise 1.2. Okay, so what is the question? The question is like find two such least consecutive numbers so that the difference of squares of them is a perfect square. Okay, in order to explain this I will use Bangla language also in between so that you can understand well. Okay, now what do we understand with consecutive numbers? Consecutive numbers are what, like 4 or 5, 3 and 4. Suppose like 1, the next number is what, 2. I've already explained this in my previous video when I was explaining number 21. Okay, so consecutive numbers are the numbers which are one after another, or jodi banglaয় বলি সেটা হচ্ছে পরপর number যেটা. Now you need to understand what is least consecutive numbers means. Least over here means smallest, so we need to find two smallest consecutive numbers. Okay, now what kind of consecutive numbers are we talking about? So that the difference of the squares of them is a perfect square number. Now you need to understand what does the word difference over here mean, what does the term perfect square number means. Okay, so first of all let me explain to you what is a perfect square number. Already most of you know that perfect square number also like 1 square is what, 1, 2 square is 4, 3 square is what, 9. So all of these are what, perfect square numbers. Means 1 is a perfect square number, 4 is a perfect square number, 9 is a perfect square number, similarly 16 and so on. Okay, so we need to find two such numbers. First of all we need to find two numbers, then we need to what, subtract them. Subtract what, the squares of those numbers. Suppose we need to, if we just for example say 7 and 8. Okay, so we need to subtract the squares of 8 and 7. Suppose we need to subtract, do like this, 8 square minus 7 square, then we need to find a perfect square number. Okay, by subtracting the squares of the consecutive numbers we need to find out a perfect square number. So this is what the question is all about. Okay, we need to find two such consecutive numbers, like if we subtract both of them we need to get a perfect square number. So how to get it? So let's see how to get it. Okay, I hope you understood the question. So let us say like in the previous sum as well, like what did we do? We considered the first number to be x, the second number would be x plus 1, because we are talking about consecutive numbers here as well. So let us say, let the first number be x. Okay, so what will be the second number, or the next number will be x plus 1. Same like if we consider one consecutive numbers are numbers which are one after another. Suppose if we consider 5, the next number will be what, 5 plus 1. If we consider 4, the next number will be what, 4 plus 1. Okay, so now we need to find the difference of the squares. Okay, so what will be the square of x plus 1? So let us just write according to question, difference of the squares of the numbers will be, okay, this is x plus 1, the square of this number will be x plus 1 whole square. Next, because we are talking about difference, obviously you need to put minus sign. Okay, next the first number is x, so what will be its square? X square, right? So what will be the number? we can write, we know a plus b whole square equals to a square plus 2ab plus b square. So we will break this according to that formula. So equals to x square plus 2x plus 1 minus x square. Okay, so this has come from the formula a plus b whole square. After breaking it, we get x square plus 2x plus 1, then minus x square, it's as it is. Okay, so now this is positive x square, this is negative x square, so we can just cut them. So what remains? 2x plus 1. Okay, now this is the difference of two consecutive numbers, but we have this difference is in terms of x. So what do we need to find? We need to find by putting, like if we put different values of x over here, we need to find a perfect square number, then only we can get those two numbers. Suppose let's put if x equals to 1, what is the result of this? We get 2x plus 1. We put the value x equals to 1 over here, so it becomes 2 into 1 plus 1, that is 3. So now we know that 3 is not a perfect square number, so we need to try with, let's say if x equals to 2, what do we get? 2x plus 1, then we put, instead of x we put what? 2, so we get 2 into 2 plus 1. 2 into 2 is 4, 4 plus 1 is what? 5. So again we know 3, 5 both are not what? Perfect square numbers. We need to get a perfect square number, because what is being asked over here, the difference of the square should be a perfect square number. Okay, so we need to get a perfect square number, otherwise we won't get our required answer. So let's continue. Now if we put if x equals to 3, we get 2x plus 1. We just put x, value of x equals to 3, so 2 into 3 plus 1. So 2 into 3 is 6, 6 plus 1 is 7. So again we know 7 is also not a perfect square number. I've just given you a list before as well. The first square number is 1, second square number is 4, third square is 9. So we need to find either of these, 1, 4, 9 or 16 and so on. If we don't find any of these values, we need to continue. So let's put now, let's try if x equals to 4. What do we get? So instead of x we are putting x equals to 4, so 2 into 4 plus 1 equals to 9. So now 9, we already know from here that 9 is a perfect square number. So that means the minimum, the least number to get, the least number, like when we put x equal to 4, what do we get? We get a perfect square number. So the least consecutive numbers will be, if x equals to 4, the second number would be what? 4 plus 1, 5. Okay, now we can also understand by putting this way as well. Okay, first let us find the value, then I'll just explain a bit further. Okay, so here we can see, like if x equals to 4, we get a perfect square number. So what will be the required solution? The numbers are 4 and 5, because if we subtract the squares of these numbers, we will get 9. Now we can check this. Your answer is done till over here, but we can check. You see, if 5 square is what? 25, right? And again, what is 4 square? That is 16. Okay, so if we subtract the squares of this number, what do we get? 9. So this is what was required. We needed to find two such numbers whose difference of the squares give a perfect square number. So the least numbers, if we subtract consecutive number 5 and 4, if we subtract the squares of these numbers, we will get a perfect square number. So this is how we get the least consecutive numbers. Okay, I hope this is clear. Thank you very much.